Driscoll strawberries, 1 pound package, $6.99. Fresh certified Angus beef top round steak, $6.99 per pound. Tostitos tortilla chips, 10-ounce bags, hot price at $4.99. Kellogg's Special K cereal, 12-ounce box, only $6.99. Select a size roll, Bounty paper towels, hot price, $2.49. All stores open Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
Live from Bermuda Broadcasting, this is ZBM TV9 News.
You're watching Bermuda Broadcasting News. It's Friday, the 4th of May. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us tonight. Premier David Burt dismisses the legislation passed in the UK's House of Commons seeking to have Bermuda and other overseas territories make public their ownership registries by 2020. Mr. Burt deemed the move an attempt by the UK to impose its will on these countries. He warns, however, the Constitution of Bermuda does not allow for that to happen. Mr. Burt adamant there will be no entertaining of this new bill as it relates to Bermuda and the overseas territories in the Caribbean, while the Crown territories are exempt.
Bermuda's 50-year-old constitution is 45 years beyond its intended shelf life. It contains unique features of self-government that were meant to lay the foundation for independence within 5 years of the order's passage. Among those features, we say, is the inability of the British Parliament to legislate for Bermuda from London. Quite simply, Mr. Speaker, London's actions on Tuesday are an egregious breach of well-established constitutional conventions. Mr. Speaker, Alan Duncan, the Foreign Office Minister leading Tuesday's debate on behalf of the UK government, told the House of Commons that a consensual approach to working with the overseas territories would have been preferred by the UK government. He further stated, and I quote, "We do not want to legislate directly for them, nor do we want to risk damaging our long-standing constitutional arrangements which respect their autonomy."
And Premier Burt had this to say.
Some irony in that language, as it mirrors the language used in the wake of Tuesday's debate to justify the fact that the action of the UK Parliament has not been applied to the Crown dependencies of Guernsey, Jersey, and the Isle of Man. Bermuda's constitution has not materially changed since 1991 and the comment of capital punishment. And so it seems clear that the action of the UK Parliament is one designed for the Caribbean and Bermuda only. Mr. Speaker, this is one of those issues that bridges the partisan divide. I can advise honorable members that even the former honorable member and former Minister of Finance, the Honorable E.T. Bob Richards, reached out for me to express his well-stated views on what he considers an undue act of aggression by the British. Mr. Speaker, in closing, allow me to use a phrase that was often uttered by another former member of this House, the late Julian Hall. Mr. Speaker, let me be pellucidly clear. There will be no public register of beneficial ownership in Bermuda until this honorable House, elected by the people of Bermuda, votes to implement one. This government rejects the regressive colonial mindset that some in London hold, that a parliament 3,000 miles away can impose anything on Bermuda that does not fall under the areas of defense, internal security, the judiciary, and external affairs. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Premier.
Meanwhile, Mr. Burt finding support from the opposition benches, with MP Trevor Moniz telling us the Premier and government are justified in the stance taken in the face of this unfortunate turn of events. However, he believes time might prove a fortuitous ally.
So far as I can see, the government at the moment and the Premier have taken an appropriate stance, in the sense of saying that, we're not going to be dictated to unfairly. I think that's an appropriate stance. He's keeping his cards close to his chest on what exactly the strategy will be, and I'm sure it will flesh out. And we're certainly, on this side of the House, supportive of a strategy of saying we're willing to meet the requirements that everyone else is willing to meet. It would be hypocritical of the UK or anyone else to say you have to meet a higher standard than what we're meeting, or you have to meet a higher standard than Jersey or Guernsey or the Isle of Man. If you look at the recent revelations through the Paradise Papers, some of those involve the local law firm Appleby, but some of the events that they were looking at concern things that were taking place in the Isle of Man and Jersey. And the British government aren't providing, as much force on them. Now, they say that they're not in a position to legally dictate to those areas, but we believe that we're in a strong position as well. And Bob Richards has publicly stated that we feel the position is that we can't be dictated to either. So I fully support the Premier insofar as he stated that we're not in a position to be dictated to. And we also have to bear in mind that we're looking at a 2-year time frame. Of course, there's a lot of domestic issues going on in the UK, not least of which is Brexit, which does touch upon this. The present Prime Minister there needs the support of her backbenchers, so she didn't fight this. She went along with it. They're, of course, going to have an election in 2020, so, we're talking about a longer time frame with very uncertain events. But right now, we need to stand up for ourselves in an appropriate way, and so far, I think the government have done the correct thing.
The order from the British House of Commons for the overseas territories to establish public registers showing the owners behind local companies could have a real impact on our financial sector. That opinion comes from E.T. Bob Richards, the former Minister of Finance and Deputy Premier. London's order means Bermuda and the territories have until 2020 to establish such registers. Speaking to Tarai Trott, Mr. Richards explains how Bermuda's current central register works, which government prefers to keep in place.
We sort of have a compact with our international business clients, and for many, many years, decades, part of this compact is that they give information to the Bermuda Monetary Authority. It's confidential information of who owns companies, who the ultimate owners are, human beings behind companies. That information is kept confidential, and over the years, there's been an evolution of what to do with that information. When I used to work at the Monetary Authority, it was totally secret. Nobody knew. But as we have evolved, we have been persuaded to share this information with other authorities in other countries, because we didn't want to be seen to be hiding pertinent information for people who were either criminals or potential criminals or tax evaders, et cetera, et cetera. So under Ms. Cox, there was a broadening of the Tax Information Treaty network. Under myself, that morphed into something called automatic exchange, where we have set up basically a computer portal. So our partners can go into that portal and find out financial information about companies, and also insofar as beneficial ownership is concerned, I signed a protocol with the UK government guaranteeing that they will have access to beneficial ownership information of companies in Bermuda on a 24-hour basis, turnaround time, 24 hours, and a 1-hour turnaround time in emergencies. So, just as an example, the information that was so-called revealed in the Paradise Papers, the UK government could have had information to all of that if they just asked.
And we will have part 2 of our sit-down interview with Mr. Richards next week, in which he addresses calls for the island to go independent and talk of a possible legal showdown in the courts with the UK. Well, stay with us. We'll have more news after the break.
Price Rite is your one-stop shop with something for everyone. Household goods for kitchen, bedroom, and bathroom. Aisles of bulk groceries at value prices. A complete selection of fresh meat and produce, and an extensive range of frozen items to cover every meal. Wines from around the world and beer and liquor at discount prices. Visit Price Rite at our 2 locations in Pembroke and Warren. There's always something new and always something for everyone.
Welcome to Furniture Walk. At Furniture Walk, we have one of the island's widest selections of top brand home furnishings, including Stearns & Foster, Craftmaster, Natuzzi, Universal, Bassett, and many more. Whether you're freshening up your living room or remodeling your entire home, we have all the brands and top quality furnishings you'll need. We also offer in-house financing. Can't find what you're looking for in store? No problem. We can special order it for you. Our website has an even larger selection of the world's best furniture. Stop by our Paget store and we'll be happy to help you get on your way to finding the perfect selection for your home or office. Furniture Walk, furnishing Bermuda's homes for over 30 years.
Welcome back. Well, he's the most controversial figure in music and has been linked to underage sex scandals for decades. Recently, 2 more women came forward accusing him of abuse. Why then would local promoters invite the R&B singer R. Kelly to perform in Bermuda? As Jasmine Patterson reports, local advocates for women are applying pressure to immigration to pull the plug on a planned concert next month.
It was just yesterday that a local station made mention that Chicago-born R&B singer Robert R. Kelly is set to perform in Bermuda. One concerned resident has joined a grassroots effort in the U.S. to sideline Kelly's career amid a rising tide of allegations against him. The movement has been backed by many high-profile celebrities.
Mute R. Kelly movement actually had started last year, and now just this year, the women of color that are part of the Time's Up movement, so Ava DuVernay, Shonda Rhimes, we're talking about some of the most powerful women in Hollywood, are saying that they are joining and backing the Mute R. Kelly movement and are calling on Sony and others to cut ties with him.
The 51-year-old singer was acquitted of child pornography charges in Chicago courts in 2008. Prosecutors said they had video evidence of Kelly having sex with a girl as young as 13, but the victim declined to testify.
I think a lot of people, they think it's something that happened a long time ago, the allegations against him, or that it was a one-off, or this or that. And there's so much overwhelming evidence that he is a sexual predator and preys on young black women particularly. So I put up a number of articles in that regard. And then basically, without knowing who the promoter was, I said, whoever it is, they're going to need to apply for a work permit. So I wrote a letter, to the Department of Immigration and put that up on my Facebook page, which then people started sharing.
It's not the first time his relationships with young women have raised concerns. In 1994, he married singer Aaliyah when she was just 15. However, media reports indicate R. Kelly continues to deny all wrongdoing.
Just because he hasn't been found guilty, we know that the wheels of justice spin slowly. So I really don't need to hear on one hand that when we're angry that the justice system didn't work in this regard, that in this case we think the justice system is working just fine. No, that's not the case. So I feel that we already have our own issues here, as our island, and we don't need to actually send out a message to the entire world that we don't care about the well-being of our young women and girls.
Ms. White's posts encouraging those concerned to write to the Immigration Department has been met with some dissent online.
Older men have always liked younger girls. That's some of the stuff that people have been writing on my Facebook page and dismissing, these girls as fast or, they know what they were getting into. They're 14, they're 15. We should be trying to protect all of our children.
The point being made is that Kelly should not be banned from the island altogether, but rather he not be given the opportunity to make money.
Amid the fact that his own country, within his own country, his concerts are being cut and boycotted and cancelled, and he's losing out on all these deals and contracts in his own country. Why in the world then would we fly him here and say, we don't care about these allegations, we don't care about, what he is? I just think it's unconscionable.
We left a message with the promoters asking for comment on the situation, but did not receive a response by news time. The Ministry of Immigration stated it cannot respond with regard to individual applications, but the ministry added, quote, "If and when we receive bona fide complaints in the Department of Immigration in relation to someone applying for or the subject of a work permit, we will investigate the complaint prior to making a decision," end quote. It's uncertain whether the local concert will go ahead. Meanwhile, the singer's May 11th gig in North Carolina is still on. Jasmine Patterson reporting for Bermuda Broadcasting News.
In other news, the ruling Progressive Labour Party has chosen Bermudian banking executive Curtis Dickinson as their pick to be a candidate in the by-election for Warwick Northeast. That parliamentary seat was made vacant when OBA MP Jeff Barron decided to step down recently. Governor John Rankin has issued a writ for the by-election in Warwick Northeast and for Paget East, where Grant Gibbons resigned, to take place on Thursday, June the 7th. David Burt, the PLP leader and premier today, said Mr. Dickinson has much to offer constituents.
The upcoming by-election has given us the opportunity to field a PLP candidate of the highest quality. Curtis graduated from the Barclay Institute, received his undergraduate degree from Morehouse College, and earned an MBA in finance from the Columbia University School of Business. Curtis has worked at the highest levels of finance in New York, London, and here in Bermuda. For the last 12 years, he has worked at Butterfield Bank, currently serving as the Executive Vice President and Group Head of Private Banking. Curtis is also committed to his community. He currently serves as the Chair of the Bermuda Hospitals Board and the Board of Education. He has previously served as the Vice Chair of the Bermuda Economic Development Corporation and as Treasurer for the Center on Philanthropy.
And Mr. Dickinson told the media at Alaska Hall today he felt it the right time to step into the spotlight.
It is indeed an honor to have been chosen. I would like to express my profound gratitude to the members of the Progressive Labour Party who are supporting my candidacy. In the coming weeks, I look forward to sharing my story and experiences and hearing the concerns and aspirations of the voters of Constituency 25 as I work to earn their votes. I'm a firm believer in the notion, to whom much is given, much will be required. Since my return to Bermuda in 2006, I've looked for ways to give back to the community that has given so much to me. Most of my efforts heretofore have been focused behind the scenes. I am now at a point where I'm prepared to step forward to work as part of this government to deliver sensible, fiscally sound, and effective public policy.
Nomination day for both constituencies will be on May the 24th. The polling station for Paget East will be at the Bermuda College Student Center. The polling station for Warwick Northeast will be Bright Temple AME Church Hall in Warwick. Turning to weather news, more beautiful sunny days ahead. Here's the latest from AccuWeather headquarters.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
The BF&M Insurance Group is pleased to bring you tonight's AccuWeather forecast here on ZBM. And the big thing that we're keeping an eye on is essentially the contrast between high pressure keeping us dry against low pressure spinning over the Turks and Caicos and eventually the Bahamas. This will probably impact our forecast in the early to middle part of next week, at least with clouds. Maybe some showers. That remains to be seen, though. We're not expecting to see any real fireworks tied to this storm system, though. It's going to be with us for a while. Center of circulation there is moving between the Bahamas and the edge of Cuba, and most of the moisture is just to the northeast of the center of circulation. It's not a tropical system, though. It's really just an area of low pressure at this point. You can see there is some decent rain tied to that, mainly near and east of the central Bahamas, moving into areas like Nassau and eventually Grand Bahama Island, the Abacos. We'll see some showers tied to this. We are in good shape, though, in Bermuda. So here's another depiction of what's going on. Dry air is with us, and we have a good amount of breathing room to the south and west before we really encounter the moisture tied to that system. So it'll be a nice weekend. That's the message. We're a little warmer, 75 degrees right now. Humidity is hovering around 70%. Wind light from the southeast at 5 to 10. Water temp is 73. On the inside, we have relatively flat water, a foot or less. And the outside, we have 2 to 3 foot waves, which is really the same as what we had yesterday. You may see a few shooting stars out there tonight. Meteor shower visible at times. Mainly clear sky. Overnight lows will be around 69 degrees. Upcoming tides, again, no marine alerts for you. That's good news. Low tide at 6:02, and then the tides coming back in. It's out at this point, but it will be coming back in around 12:38 a.m. Another low tide early tomorrow morning, and the tide rises once again at around 1:01 on Saturday afternoon. Hope you make the most of the weekend. It looks nice, mostly sunny, 75 on Saturday. We can't go wrong with a weather setup like this. So here we are. High pressure is centered to our east. It's still close enough and dominant enough to protect us. There's the center of circulation of the high pressure system, and that's driving that breeze. It's a light breeze from the southeast into our area. You can see a little extra moisture to our south, and the northern part of the circulation tied to the system near the Turks and Caicos, approaching the Bahamas, and it will creep north eventually tomorrow afternoon. You begin to see it near the Florida coast. Most of the moisture will be east of Florida and still well to our west. Miami could see some extra rain tied to that. Atlanta looks dry, 82. 70 in New York, nice day in Toronto, great day in Boston as well. London looks nice, 71, warming up there as well. Down into the Caribbean, scattered showers and thunderstorms, and again, we're keeping an eye on this non-tropical low to our south. It should not become a tropical storm or hurricane. It will bring us some extra clouds, though, Tuesday and into Wednesday. Maybe a shower or two. Most of the rain into the middle of the week will probably be just to our west. Keep an eye on it. Have a good weekend.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
My name is Kevin Roberts. I'm a taxi driver / ambassador. My father's was BF&M, so am I. Half of my family always seemed to be with Bermuda Fine Marine. I tried a different provider at one time, but I wasn't too happy with the competition. Because then it took too long to settle claims. They questioned every claim, and I never really had that problem with BF&M. And I'm quite happy with it.
This is Rick Blomquist of De Pere, Wisconsin. His life is pretty comfortable. He lives in a comfy home, wears comfortable shoes. He even has a comfortable job. Rick Blomquist thought he had comfort all figured out. But then he laid on a Certa and realized his life was only just sorta comfortable. The new Certa iComfort Hybrid Mattress. Not just sorta comfortable, Certa comfortable.
Feel the difference a good night's sleep can make. Exclusively available at Dreams, Bermuda's only mattress gallery.
Pumps make our world go. Cars, washing machines, oil rigs, submarines, all have pumps. The heart is a pump too. And like all pumps, it has parts that wear out and need to be replaced. But the heart isn't easy to get to. First, surgeons have to cut through a protective cage. But what if you could get to the heart the same way blood does? Through an artery. Researchers at Columbia and Weill Cornell, working with New York Presbyterian, pioneered an artificial aortic valve that folds closed, like an umbrella. Doctors guide the valve through arteries to the heart, where it unfolds and goes to work. Techniques like TAVR may soon replace open heart surgery altogether. Patients could check in the morning and leave with a rebuilt heart the very next day. That's amazing. And it's happening right here at New York Presbyterian.
Let's join Earl Baisden with tonight's sports report.
The finals of the National Squash Championships are all set for later this evening as Michael Franklin and Noah Brown will battle in the men's final, and Laura Robinson as well as Rachel Barnes will take to the court for the ladies' final. In the women's open semifinals, number 1 seed Rachel Barnes defeated Sarah Nicholson 11-9, 11-9, 11-8, and the number 2 seed Laura Robinson defeated Jane Craig 11-4, 11-2, 11-2. In the men's open semifinals, number 1 seed Michael Franklin defeated Kristen Johnson 7-11, 11-5, 11-7, 11-4, and number 2 seed Noah Brown defeated Patrick Foster 11-2, 11-7, 11-8. Sam Mabry is continuing his give back to youngsters through the sport of tennis with the help of a community. Mabry has been going to T.N. Tatum as part of a class teaching students on the school's 2 tennis courts.
I was at Spice Valley for 12 years, and then like Mrs. Robertson said, we connected about 4 or 5 years ago. It was a class. It grew to power washing the courts, It go again to more classes, more power washing, neighbors out the back. They come by, the gentleman from Island Glass, he comes by, he donated a case of balls. The gentleman, Mr. Smith, they come over and bring their little smoothie or whatever like that, you know what I mean? So it's, and they assist. Had a lady up top there that came down and actually took a hoe and was helping out clearing things for the children, you know what I mean? So when the tennis nets are up, it's like the whole community knows, it's not just the school.
The Bermuda Football Association announced applications are now being accepted for its Legends Scholarships 2018. The 2018 Legends include Lorenzo Simons, Dennis Wainwright, Dr. Lou Simmons, Carlisle Crockle Sr., and John Newsom. Applications can be downloaded from the Bermuda Football Association website or collected from the Bermuda Football Association's Clyde Best Center of Excellence. The deadline for applications is June 15th, 2018. Conditions on the Great Sound were beautiful for Day 5 of the Bermuda International Sailing Race Week. Peter Wickwire's team from Chester won both races on the day, which has put his team on top of both the Series B and the overall series. In the overall series, Wickwire is out in front on 17 points. Peter Rugg and John Burham from Fisher's Island are in second on 24 points, and Bermuda's Martin Cease is in third with 30 points. On the opening day of the Schroeder Spring Long Course Swimming Championships at the National Sports Center last evening saw 2 records broken. Arabella Newport Derbyshire broke the 8 and under 400-meter freestyle record set by Marley Howells, who clocked 6:57.59 back on October 21st, 2016 during the Fall Classic in Canada, and she touched the wall in a time of 6:47.86. With a time of 9:49.49, saw Taylor White break the 13-14 girls 800-meter freestyle record, which was set by Skylar Powell, who clocked 9:50.43 back on April 27, 2017 at the Schroeder's Spring Long Course Swimming Championships. Dalwood Middle School won the Bermuda School Sports Federation's Middle School Girls Super 8 Cricket Tournament at the National Sports Center yesterday with a down-to-the-wire win over Warwick Academy. Warwick Academy batted first and posted a score of 61 in their allotted 7 overs. Warwick were led by Taylor Horan with 23 runs. Dalwood crossed the score with 1 ball to spare without losing a wicket. Chance Goodwin and Kizay Gibbons each scored 21 runs for the champions. 3 Bermuda athletes represented St. Johnsbury Academy during the Linden Institute track meet. Malik Joe won the men's varsity 200-meter final, stopping the clock in a time of 23.87. Joe would then win the men's varsity 400-meter final, clocking 52.46. Sejan Harvey finished second in the men's varsity 800-meter run with a time of 2:02.75. Joe ran the opening leg for the St. Johnsbury men's varsity 4x400-meter relay team that clocked a winning time of 3:50.47. Joe led off, and Harvey ran the second leg for the St. Johnsbury men's 4x800-meter relay team, who clocked a winning time of 8:35.40. During the women's varsity 100-meter final, Zakiah Lewis stopped the clock in a winning time of 12:81. Lewis would finish second, clocking 26.83 during the women's varsity 200-meter race. She would then run the first leg for the winning St. Johnsbury women's varsity 4x100-meter relay team that clocked 52.68. Lewis would close out, winning the women's varsity long jump with a top leap of 5.18 meters. Coach Chris Crumpler announced that the Bermuda Basketball Youth Federation is planning to take approximately 40 boys to the World Hoop Summit in Pennsylvania this summer. Traveling will be teams ages under 17, under 15, under 13, and under 10, along with their coaches. The event will be held at the Eastern University in St. David's, Pennsylvania from July 9th through to the 15th. The summit will feature a 3-day pro skill clinic followed by a 2-day tournament of nations. According to Crumpler, the event will feature one of the top collection of professional basketball trainers ever assembled to teach international players the game. Jair Prophet Williams and his NJ Rudavalenja teammates went down 3-1 to Maribor.
I'm Earl Baisden with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
You can count on us.
Red seedless grapes only $3.99 per pound. Fresh Purdue chicken drumsticks, half price $1.79 per pound. Select varieties of Yoplait yogurt 6-ounce tubs, only $1.09. Scott Extra Soft toilet tissue, 4 rolls, only $3.29. Tide 2X laundry detergent, 92-ounce bottle, hot price $19.99. Save $7.06. All stores open Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. until 10 p.m., and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for your shopping convenience.
You can count on us.
Are you looking to expand your customer base, increase sales, and be a part of the Island Community Events for 2018? Bermuda Broadcasting Company can make that happen.
Be a part of World Cup 2018, Bermuda Day Half Marathon, Bermuda Heroes Weekend, Cup Match Classic, and Eastern Counties Cricket.
Inquire about our new advertising opportunities, whether big or small. We will deliver. Come and see us at Fort Hill, Devonshire, or email us at sales@bbc.pm or send us a message on Facebook at Bermuda Broadcasting.
And that's our newscast for tonight. I'm Diane Brewer. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful evening and weekend. Good night.